we hear about the downtown. People feel it's not safe. The drug issue and drugs coming in from the big city and things like that. What is the real situation from your perspective, having been here over 6 months? But what is your perspective about what the biggest issues and challenges we are facing? What is the reality of the crime situation in Peterborough?
Well, we've seen an increase this year in frauds and fraud-related crimes, so credit cards, that sort of thing. And they're hard to investigate, and they take up an awful lot of time and resources to get their production orders, search warrants with banks and various companies to get the documents. So they're very time-consuming. But we have seen an increase of about 55% this year, which is actually driving our crime rate up. We've seen marked reductions in a lot of other areas. Violent crime is down. Thefts are down slightly, I believe. But it's the frauds that are driving things up for us. Our clearance rate is still one of the best in Canada. It's 60% or so, give or take a decimal point. So we're doing very well with the crimes that are reported to us. But as you know, sometimes it doesn't take long for perception to become reality. So when people are feeling unsafe, if that's their perception, then obviously we have to work to do something about that. And one of the areas that we've been struggling with for a number of years, and that's quite evident in some of the reports that I reviewed before starting here, was that our calls for service were always going up, and officers were very busy on the road, having trouble, getting free time to be proactive, to actually get out of their car and walk in the downtown core, or spend some time there where people are feeling unsafe.
Do you have regular foot patrols? I guess we don't in the downtown core.
We have foot patrols in the downtown core, but they're not as frequent as I would like, and they're certainly not as frequent as the community would like, or the business community. So our challenge, my challenge since I started working with all of our members, has been to try and find ways to deal with the calls for service that we have. And some of those things that we're dealing with are not police-related calls, but we are a 24/7 operation, and as I said earlier, there's a lot of issues around mental health that we get called for. There's issues around addictions that we get called for, and we have to find ways to work with other community partners, either to have them take more of a lead on those issues, or find ways that we can work with them to reduce them. So an example is we had one person who had called the paramedic service in Peterborough 397 times last year. And that person, not all the time was that person not admitted to a psychiatric facility, but 397 times in a year takes up an awful lot of resources for both the paramedics as well as for the police that have to respond to that. So, there's things that we're looking at to try and relieve some of our call volume. We have issues we had issues rather, of calls sitting for 5 and 6 days before we could get to them. Part of that was, we didn't have officers that were able to respond, or the complainant had gone out and, we were going back continually to see them to try and take that report. So we've pushed people more to our online reporting for minor offenses. In about 3 3/4 years, from January 1st of 2015 to September of 2018, our online reporting portal, on average, it was 0.8 reports a day. So you can see that we had a tool there, but it wasn't being used. And so we've given our communicators and our staff sergeants the autonomy to push calls to the online reporting. That way we can get the information quicker. We've also done some other things, created a video upload portal so people can actually get us security footage, because we were sending somebody out, or we do have a video analyst, and he was going out spending 3 hours a day picking up video, and if he wasn't available, then a frontline officer was having to go out and pick up the video. So we're just trying to do some things where it sort of automates the process a little bit more, and it gives our officers a little bit more time on the road so that they can be proactive and be seen in the community. The last thing that our community needs is just to see officers whipping by in a police car going to the next call. They need to be seen, and they need to be you know, in the position that they can make a difference and alleviate those concerns of that people have about feeling unsafe.